in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you didn't have to probably have all that much business acumen to make a pretty good living as a dentist. Okay, so you're nodding your head. Tell me, you know that story, right? Like there's a little bit of, we sort of came into a profession where you could kind of get away with that.
It's true. I remember being in dental school and our professors just in general were saying, you guys are, we're approaching the end of the golden era of dentistry.
That's exactly what they said, yes.
And I totally believe that in that, because we have such value to our skill set, like even right now, if you accept the worst insurance in the world, you're getting $950 for a crown, right?
Yep.
And $150 for a build-up. And we can, like, after a good amount of experience, you can do that in 20 minutes.
You can make that work, yeah.
You can do that in 20 minutes. You can do that 3 times an hour. And that level of income hides a lot of flaws in businesses.
Yes.
So you could run the sloppiest business in the world, particularly back then, and not have to worry about plugging all the holes because there's enough revenue coming in that you could be sloppy. Nowadays, because of this, like the stakes are so much higher because of the debt that these kids are graduating with.
Yes.
That you can't be that sloppy. Every penny has to be accounted for.
Yeah.
So we're forced into this necessity to understand how a business works.
Yep.
And for those people that aren't interested or don't take the time to self-educate, because we don't learn this in dental school, to self-educate or find the right mentors, then they're going to find themselves behind the 8 ball very, very quickly because of the debt load that people are under right now.
What do you say to someone who's, if they asked that question before dental school and you said, look, you can be a W-2 guy if you want to in dentistry, but you probably need to look really hard about this. What if someone said, God, I'm not really driven by the entrepreneurial stuff. Would you recommend dentistry for them?
I still would.
Okay.
I still would, because I mean, the average dentist nowadays makes about $230,000 a year, right? The average household income now is just approaching $80,000.
Sure.
And that's usually a dual income household.
Right,
so we're looking at an average dentist makes 3 times the average household
When you say
income.
average dentist, how many of those average dentists are practice owners?
Okay, so right now there's roughly 200,000 practicing dentists. 74% of the 200,000 dentists own their own dental practice.
That's so wild. So we're still in that spot because
Yeah.
there are still people out there that don't have the drive to do the entrepreneur, and you still think dentistry is a decent place for them.
I really, really do. But the stakes are high, man. So like if you are going to offset that debt load that is now required in order to graduate, and the average dental student right now is graduating with about $292,000 in debt, about $300,000 in debt, right?
That's so wild. It's like you could buy 3 of my practices for that, by the way.
Yeah. So my contention isn't necessarily I'm encouraging people to W-2. I'm encouraging people to do what's necessary to protect themselves and their family in the long run. And you can most definitely do that for $250,000 if you plan correctly, but it's a longer road, right? Obviously, if you're not going to have that pop at the end of your career to be able to sell potentially your real estate and the practice, you're building this tangible asset as a practice owner. And even if you're a single mom and pop shop, that could be significant. It could be, you know, it could be 7 figures easily, but you can easily also offset that asset by being smart, prudently,
by
with
learning how to
finance.
do it.
Personal finance. I mean, you're maxing out your 401ks, you're getting involved with something like real estate to offset your W-2 income. You're looking at oil and gas. You're looking at some things that are not necessarily like the traditional investment approach, and you can most definitely offset that windfall at the end that a lot of people experience when they have their own dental practice.
I hadn't thought about that.
What's interesting, though, is that a lot of people get involved with dentistry because they want to have that asset that they're building over time, but they don't recognize that the asset isn't going to be worth anything if they don't do it the right way.
Yeah.
So all of that effort, all of that liability, all of that stress, all of that risk is for nothing if you don't learn how to do it right.
Yeah.
So my contention is go ahead and be a W-2, learn the other stuff, build your generational wealth in a different way if you're not willing to take the risk and the liability and the self-education in order to do that. But if you are going to take that risk, you might as well do it right, or else none of that other stuff is worth it.